And thank you to Safe Job Portal. My name is Ankit, and I'm here today to give a small session on a good salesman. So, salesman, before going ahead, I would like to tell what a salesman is. Salesman, a person who tries to persuade to sell his things to you, whether it is any product, any services, any goods, any views, anything. A person try to persuade to you to sell his things is a salesman. Example, taking example, you're going for an interview. So in an interview, what you are going to do? You are trying to sell your skills, sell your knowledge, sell your experience. That is how you're going to crack any interview. When this topic was given to me by Safe about the salesman, a movie clicked in my mind named Hello. Am I audible to all of you? Hello. Moving ahead, a movie clicked in mind. Salesman, Rocket Singh Salesman of the Year. I hope most of you have watched that movie. So, speaking of Rocket Man, so what was that movie is about? That movie is about the salesman only and how a salesman is and what are the qualities and traits of a salesman should be. Speaking of example, so Rocket Singh character, our Ranbir Kapoor played by Ranbir Kapoor. So what were the characters of that person in that movie? First, honesty. A person should be honest because if you're giving shady things about any product, a customer will definitely going to understand it, and he will definitely understand that the things are not good and it's shady because the person who is selling the product is not confident. So second trait is confidence. You must be having confidence about the product you are going to sell. So honesty, confidence, two things, two qualities which I just said about are very important for any salesman, whatever you are going to sell. Now, from where this confidence and honesty comes? Honesty and confidence comes from the information about the product. How much information, how much knowledge you are having about your product which you are going to sell. If you're not confident enough, you're not having information about the product, you will not be confident. The same thing happens when you go for an interview. If you're not having knowledge, if you're not having experience with you and you're just faking it on your resume, it means you will shake automatically, your voice will shake during the interview, and which the interview catches up. So having information and knowledge about the product, about yourself, is very very important. So third quality which a salesman should have is the information about the product. Now, so having knowledge, information about products gives you confidence, brings in honesty in you. The fourth quality which I would like to share is about the value, because whenever you're going to sell anything to any customer, the second thing comes up to his mind is what is the cost of this product? What is the cost of this product? So now justifying that value of the product to the customer is very very important, because if you'll not be able to justify the cost of that product which you're selling, you're not able to going to sell it. As an example, what I would say from that movie only, which when Ranveer Singh went for an interview, the interviewer asked him to sell him a pencil without a rubber. Now, selling a pencil is not a big thing. You will tell about the qualities of the pencil, how the pencil is, what is the price of the pencil, and the price is justifiable or not. So after justification of these things comes the second point. Good evening, Tapas. The second point is price. Price of the understanding the value, of making the value understand the customer is agree to pay that value or not. To make him prove your point that the price of that product is what it is, and it cannot be lesser than that and cannot be more than that. So these are things which are very important. So the four factors which I discussed. First is your confidence, information about the product, honesty with the customer, and the fourth is understanding the value of the product. Whatever product you're going to sell, you should be confident enough that the value of the product is very, very correct. Okay. So moving ahead, we have discussed around four points. The next is empathy, understanding the customer. See, understanding the customer brain is very, very important. Today, you know there are many products available in the market. Many substitutes are available, and to sell your product among all those substitutes is very, very challenging job for any salesman. The same thing happens when you go for an interview. You will see there are many candidates lined up for the same profile, for the same job. Now you have to sell yourself. How are you going to do that? Again, the same thing. The knowledge, the experience you are having, are you confident enough with that or not? Or you're just writing it on your resume? That is why whenever any training session you have been received from any trainer, he always try to say you that always be confident about a resume, because that resume is the product you are going to sell in an interview, which is very, very important. If you're not confident about that, you're not going to crack that interview, or you're not going to crack any kind of sales. Now, the next part comes is persuasion. How to pursue, how to persuade anyone, how to influence. That comes with your quality, with your charm, how you are looking, how you are presenting yourself, how you are projecting yourself in front of the customer, in front of interviewer, in front of anyone. If your looks are not good, no one is going to take care of. And I mean, simple. If you're going for an interview, you're going in a t-shirt and a jeans, no one will take you seriously. Everyone will think of, okay, he's just a casual boy and is just coming for a fun. So they're not going to take you seriously. So looks also matter. Looks matter a lot whenever you're going to do any sales or you're going for an interview. Okay. Now, pose these things. The first and the foremost important part of any salesman is ability to listen. You must have that patience in you to listen to the customer. Until and unless you will not listen, you'll not able to understand. You'll not be able to understand that what the customer actually is looking for. Example being, whenever you visit any store or any departmental store and you're looking for anything, if your salesman is not listening you will automatically get irritated that what the hell, no one is listening me. So salesman should have that capability and should have that patience within them to listen the customer, what actually customer is looking for. The next point for any salesman come is hunger. If you're not hungry, you'll not be able to sell. Hungry for what? Hungry for numbers, sales numbers. I guess you might be thinking of that only. So it's this. If you're not having that hunger inside you, you'll not be able to sell. If you're not having hunger inside you, you'll not be able to grow. Simple. Hello. So, how many points have discussed by now? Ability to listen, your confidence, your knowledge about the product, your understanding the value of the product, that if any product is cost at rupees 100, then that 100 rupees is justifiable or not, or are you able to explain that part to the customer or not. The next point comes is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm of what? Enthusiasm to sell, enthusiasm to persuade anyone, enthusiasm to influence anyone. That quality is very, very important for any salesman or anyone, whether it's a candidate going for the interview. Is he enthusiast for his profile or not? Or is he enthusiast about his field or not? If you're not enthusiast, you will not be having that confidence in you to say. If you're not having zeal to learn about, you'll not be able to sell. Very simple. These are very simple and basic things for anyone to succeed in life, whether it's a sales job, it's an interview, or anything. For example, if you're a lecturer and you're giving a lecture on any topic, you're not having enthusiasm to learn from your students only. That if your students are asking the questions to you and you're getting irritated, might have seen many of the teachers who are getting irritated while giving lectures whenever any student asks the question. It's a very simple thing. The same things happens with the salesman. If your customer is asking to you anything about the product and you're getting irritated, you're not having enthusiasm, you're not having that activeness to answer that thing, it means you're not having interest. So having enthusiasm is very, very important. The next quality what a salesman should have, as per me, is resilience. Now, speaking of resilience, meaning of resilience speaking is to bounce back. You might have heard that word nowadays going very much famous. Being resilient post COVID-19 situation. What is the situation going to happen? Will the supply chain or the companies will be able to bounce back or not? So bouncing back is very, very important for any salesman. If you're seeing that the deal is not going right or the things are getting dried up, you have to be innovative to bounce back into the deal, to bring the customer again back to the table. So that resilience is very, very important. Speak example, you have seen many of the companies are now breaking down. Sales is completely gone. No sales nowadays. We are in lockdown, right? So how to bounce back? So you have to be resilient for that. You do not have to lose the hope. A salesman should always be hopeful, because once you lose the hope, everything is lost. You cannot gain anything if you lose the hope. So you should be having the hope to bounce back. You have to be resilient, right? The next come the multitasking skills. Multitasking. What that mean? I hope most of you are having the answer to that. Multitasking means that are you able to multitask, or are you able to handle more or two or more customers at the same time or not? You have that innovation in you. You have innovative ideas to sell. Just an example, if anyone asks you to sell a pencil, well, it's a very common question asked during interviews for the salesman. Sell me this product. Now, someone will say, just a pencil, how I can sell it to you? And some will innovate, right? So, innovation is very important. Curiosity, adaptability, few are the points which is very, very important for a salesman. Being adaptable means being able to handle any kind of situation when you are put into. So again comes multitasking, innovative. So few are the points which I would like to tell: adaptability, communication skills, persistence, patience, passion to sell, passion to know about the customer, that what customer is actually looking for, to get into the customer's skin. You have to have that capability inside you as a salesman, that will you be able to sell that product, then only you will be able to sell that product. Else, nowadays customer is having many options with them. They can go for online purchasing, they can go for another store, they can go for another product. Speaking of aquaguard, is if I say there are many varieties of aquaguards available in the market. So you have that, you need to have that passion to sell that product, else the customer is not going to buy that. Then comes the imagination to think that how my product can be more and more attractive to the customer, right? So coming this, I'm not having any receiving any questions, guys. Is everything audible to you? Is it clear what I've said till yet? Okay. Now the first and the foremost part comes to salesman is how to approach anyone. Approaching is very very important. If you will not approach any customer, then how you are going to start your dealing? Am I right? So selling up the product is approaching a customer is very very important. How to approach any customer? So first and foremost thing is you have to identify the needs of the customer, or the product you are going to sell that actually is required by that customer or not. Then only that customer is going to interact. All right. If you're going to sell a product which is not needed by the customer, then why he's going to get interest in that? It's a very simple and basic fact. So you have to understand your product first and foremost. You should be having a strong knowledge base about your product, about the company you're working for, because as soon as the customer will get a feel that you're not having information about your company you're working for, it means you're not passionate enough. You're not passionate enough to work for that company. So obviously you're not having enough information about that product. So these things are very small and basic things which are observed during a sales deal. If these things are not clear to the customer, he will not going to buy the product from you. It's very simple. So you have to be passionate. You have to be patient, and many call it as tenacity. What a word! Tenacity is very very important for a salesman. Tenacity means hard working. You have to be hardworking. You have to be in customer's mind. A deal doesn't go in a day. A very famous saying is there. A deal never goes in a day. You have to be persistent with your work. You have to be always in the customer's mind. You might have seen many pharmaceutical salesmen. Whenever they go to sell the medicines, how they approach. First, they approach the doctors. Speaking of how that medicine is effective and what that company is about. So going to the doctors, they keep in touch with the doctors by giving them good wishes on the festivals, by keeping in touch with them. Very very important to be in touch with the customer. You have that. You must be having that tenacity. You have must be having that thoroughness about your product. That your product is what your product is, what does it do, and how it is going to help your customer. So these are the things which are very very important for any customer to be. Hello, guys. I'm open up for the questions. If you want to put up any questions regarding sales, please go on. Speaking of Arun, how to apply? Hello Arun, where in sales field you wanna apply? May I know the company you're looking to apply for? Good evening, Devashish. Any questions you guys looking for? What a salesman should do? Uh, okay, so I guess you guys not having any questions regarding the sales job, and the best salesman qualities are not very uh, a rocket science kind of thing. You have to be very simple human being first of all. First, you have to be very honest within yourself. Then only you will be able to sell anything, or you will be honest with the customer. Second, must have very thorough knowledge about your product, what you are going to sell, not only about the product, but see. Hi, nice question, Biplo. Speaking of price, price is very first of all, you need to understand what the product you are selling and what is the cost of manufacturing that product. Speaking of what are the components involved in the selling price, that you need to understand. You cannot tell everything to the customer, that what profit margin you are making at the product, or what price value, what profit making you are making on the product, what is the cost price of that product. So but you have to have that knowledge within you, what is the actual cost of that product and how much margin you are making on it after all the things like logistics cost and logistics cost behind it, warehousing cost, transportation cost. All those components you have to be very aware of. Price breakup, you need to understand what it is. Selling price breakup. So if you are aware of that part, that what are the components involved in pricing, then only you will be able to pitch your product to the customer, because price is the one thing which on which most of the salesmen are stuck, because they are not aware of the components behind it. How much is the manufacturing cost, or how much this profit margin, how much value it is going to take when it is reaching the customer. So breakup is very important. If you're not aware of that part, you will not be able to convince the customer. Okay, so yes, so coming back to the conclusion, so honesty, knowledge about the product, and as Biplav asked a good question, selling price breakup is very important. You have to understand that what is the components involved in that product when it is reaching the customer, how final price is being made up, and second, thoroughness. You have to be very thorough. You have to be have patience in you. You have to have a good ability to listen. Listening is very important, because if you're not a good listener, you're not able to sell anything. Example, very sure, if you're in an interview, interviewer is asking you the question, what is the name of your father, and you are telling the name of your grandfather. So what is the objective? So you have to be very good listener, very important for you. and you must be having confidence. Confidence comes with knowledge, and you must be having the ability to network. Example: a customer gives you a customer. Remember that point always. Customer gives you a customer. So you should always leave an impression whenever you're meeting any customer that that person is going to suggest you or going to refer you to the next customer. If you're not having that quality within you, you're not going to sell, not be able to sell for that long, or you're not able to sustain your career in this field. Because if your impression goes wrong, no one is going to listen you again. Even speaking of this live session, if I'm not able to give you a good impression, you're not going to listen me again, right? So networking ability is very very important for any salesman, whether he's leaving a good impression or not. You have to have patience. You're not having patience, your impression is not going to be good. If I'll get irritated of anything, okay, so we are concluding up here, and want to know more about the salesman, please watch the movie Rocketman Salesman of the Year. It's a very nice movie. It's a very humble movie, and it gives you a very basic and important things which one should know about how a salesman should be. Okay, bye bye.